Right now at noon, a fire investigation turns into a death investigation in Newton County.
We've got an absolutely gorgeous day across the area, textbook spring-like weather, but there are some changes coming up. We'll talk about your forecast here in a few minutes.
And it's a growing memorial outside the Covenant School in Nashville, where the investigation into Monday's school shooting continues.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities discover a body 2 days after a fire destroys a garage in Newton County. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, a death investigation is underway outside of Racine, Missouri. The garage fire happened Sunday morning west of Racine on Highway 86, but the body was not discovered until Tuesday, when the fire marshal responded to the scene. No word on the identity of the body or the cause of death. The cause of the fire is also under investigation. Well, come Friday, thousands of Kansans with Medicaid coverage are at risk of losing their coverage as Medicaid renewals return, and this affects the more than 500,000 KanCare recipients. At the start of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, Congress enacted the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which included a provision that state Medicaid programs keep recipients continuously enrolled. And now 3 years later, that continuous enrollment provision is set to expire March 31st. And states, including Kansas, are starting to redetermine annual eligibility for all of their Medicaid recipients. The Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas wants to bring awareness and says to keep an eye on your mail.
This affects everybody that currently has a Medicaid plan because they have not done renewals over the last couple of years. Everyone who currently is enrolled in Medicaid coverage, again, KanCare, Sooner Care, Mo Health Net, or CHIP.
Well, some patients will no longer be eligible due to income, age, or possibly changes in their health status. Well, the cold weather rule also comes to an end this week in several states, including Kansas and Missouri. After Friday, residents will need to catch up on utility payments. Anyone who is behind on electric and natural gas utility bills will be subject to disconnection of service. The rule is designed to help homeowners and renters who are behind on their utility payments avoid disconnection during the winter months. Oklahoma's rule is in effect all year. The seasonal policy is a temperature-based rule. Well, still a little on the chilly side today, but for how much longer? Chris Warner joins us with first look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've been doing much better today than what we did yesterday because, boy, it was still cold by the noon hour, and today, much better. Look at this view from 7th and Rangeline. Just a handful of clouds out there, plentiful sunshine, much warmer than where we were yesterday. Same situation from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline. Sunshine out there. You need the sun visor, you need the sunglasses, and we've got clear skies overhead. We are still watching thunderstorm chances, though, as we head into our Tuesday and Thursday with that low-end risk for late Thursday night across parts of southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma, and then it shifts further east as we move into our Friday. Still a low-end risk across southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. We have an elevated risk for parts of southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas with incoming thunderstorm chances. We'll talk more about those thunderstorm chances here in a few more minutes. First, yesterday started out at 39, a little closer to normal, but only made it up to 49, way off of the average for this time of year. And the good news is we're going to be close to average much more over the next few days. In fact, take a look. We're going to start to get above average as time goes on, and we're doing a lot better than where we were yesterday. 58. Iola, Chanute, Yates Center, Neodesha, Parsons, Miami, Chatopa, 54 Neosho, Carthage, 55 in Lamar, and 53 in Joplin. What we're keeping an eye on, we've still got the plentiful sunshine and those much more seasonable temperatures through today. And as we showed you, they'll continue to warm through Friday. And we are watching those thunderstorm chances Thursday into Friday. And again, we'll take another complete look at your forecast and those storm chances here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. The state of Missouri awards $3.5 million to the city of Joplin for community restoration efforts. The grant comes from the Missouri Department of Economic Development and is funded through the American Rescue Plan Act. It provides funding to establish programs for an affordable housing preservation initiative. Joplin city officials say it can also be used to improve neighborhoods facing neglect and disrepair. City of Joplin now has a total of $7 million committed to community rejuvenation with the city's ARPA matching contribution.
It's going to do a lot to make housing more attainable. It's going to also help improve our existing housing stock. So Joplin will see a lot of real and significant improvement as a result of these one-time funds being delivered to the City of Joplin.
According to the Missouri Governor, Mike Parson, a total of $100 million was allocated to the program. Nashville is planning a citywide vigil tonight to mourn the victims of Monday's deadly mass shooting. Today, we're learning more about the 3 adults and 3 children killed at the Covenant School. Christian Benavides has the latest from Nashville.
Members of the grief-stricken community paid their respects at the growing memorial to the victims of the Nashville school shooting Wednesday morning. At a church in Washington, Missouri, Tuesday night, where the grandparents of Evelyn Dykehouse are parishioners, a special mass was held for the 9-year-old victim.
Evelyn was a shining light, and she will be greatly missed by all.
Evelyn was one of 3 9-year-old students killed in Monday's rampage, along with 3 staffers, including custodian Mike Hill.
Everybody loved Mike. Mike knew the kids in the school, knew their names, and took a very personal interest in them.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee revealed 2 other victims. Head of the Covenant School, Catherine Coons, and teacher Cynthia Peak were close to him and his wife.
Cindy was supposed to come over to have dinner with Maria last night after she filled in as a substitute teacher yesterday at Covenant.
The city of Nashville is planning a vigil tonight for the victims as the investigation into the shooting continues. Nashville's police chief says the shooter had legally purchased 7 guns. 3 of them were used in Monday's attack. Police also say the shooter was under doctor's care for an emotional disorder. Averiana Patton knew the shooter from middle school. She says she received a message warning something bad was about to happen.
I screenshotted it to my dad and I was like, do I need to say something? He texts back, yes.
She alerted law enforcement, but it was too late. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Nashville.
Police say the shooter's parents found 1 gun and forced the shooter to sell it, but they did not know about the others. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon, a science museum in Europe unveils the world's first meatball made from woolly mammoth DNA. And later, we're making herb-crusted lamb with mint sauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Scientists in Australia are serving up a twist on the classic meatball to stir up conversation about where our food comes from. CBS's Ian Lee has the story.
It's a reveal 4,000 years in the making. A mammoth meatball, and it's no pachyderm prank.
This is not an April Fool's joke. This is a real innovation. It's something that we have actually done.
Clearly, this prehistoric meatball was rolled in a lab. Since the last time mammoth was on the menu, the dish was advertised in pictures.
Because this protein is literally 4,000 years old, we haven't seen it for a very, very long time.
And the creation from Australian food startup Vow isn't exactly 100% grade A mammoth meat. Scientists inserted mammoth DNA into a sheep cell with missing genetic gaps filled with data from the mammoth's closest living relative, the African elephant.
So super fascinating to think that adding the protein from an animal that went extinct 4,000 years ago gave it a totally unique and new aroma, something we haven't smelled as a population for a very long time.
We're told it smells a little bit like crocodile meat, but there are no plans for a taste test. Creators are just looking to fire up the public about cultivated meat, saying it's not just better for animals, but also the environment.
We wanted to get people excited about the future of food being different to potentially what we had before. That there are things that are unique and better than the meats that we're necessarily eating now.
Who knows what our caveman ancestors said the last time it was served, but for anyone willing to try it someday, bon appetit. Ian Lee, CBS News.
More than 100 companies around the world, including here in the U.S., are working on cultivated meat products, many of them startups. Just last week, the FDA cleared cultured chicken cell material, that sounds appetizing, by a California company as safe to eat. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Looking to make something new for Easter? We've got a main dish that'll melt in your mouth.
But first, we are tracking thunderstorm chances as we head into Thursday night and into our Friday. We'll take a look at those storm chances and what temperatures are going to do over the weekend when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. We got an absolutely beautiful spring-like day outside, and it is going to continue to stay spring-like and quite warm and quite pleasant. However, spring-like temperatures, they sometimes bring in those spring-like storms, and that's what we're keeping an eye on as we head into our Thursday and Friday. So we showed you this map earlier. We've got that low-end risk of some stronger storms across southeast Kansas and into parts of northeast Oklahoma late tomorrow night, and then that risk begins to shift east by Friday. Still low-end risk in southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and an elevated risk for southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. Now, if we do see any strong to severe storms, at this point, some large hail and gusty winds are the primary threats with these particular storms. So let's take a look at what the timing is looking like on all this. As we head into late tomorrow night, we could see a stray strong storm or two in our far western counties here in Kansas. You saw those little blips pop up. Then, as we head into Friday early morning, between roughly 4 and 10 a.m. is when we're expecting additional thunderstorm development across the area, and we could see some strong, possibly severe storms with that development. Now, that'll start to break up and clear out by about 10 o'clock or so, and then, as we head into the early afternoon, there's a possibility of additional redevelopment of an isolated storm or two. If we see any of those have the possibility to be strong storms as well, but they're going to be isolated and they're going to kick out of the area pretty quickly, as the main severe risk is expected to stay to our east with this cold front that's going to come through. Now, if for any reason the cold front were to slow down, it could increase our strong thunderstorm risk. If it speeds up, it'll significantly decrease that risk. Our camera, 7th and range line, there's a few clouds out there looking great, otherwise plentiful sunshine. Same from the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, lots of sunshine, lots of blue skies, and that's allowing us to warm up nicely along with that south breeze at 9 miles an hour as we are at 53 in Joplin. Some of our friends in southeast Kansas, you are pushing 60 degrees already out there, so you may creep up a little warmer than the rest of us. Look at these 58s, the 8th Center, Neodesha, Sedan, Parsons, Chatopa, Chanute, Iola. We got 55s in Fort Scott and Pittsburgh, 58 Miami, 54 Neosho, Carthage, 55 in Lamar, and 55 in Nevada. As we go through the rest of the day, still looking at those highs pushing into the lower 60s. We'll have those mostly clear skies, maybe a passing cloud or two, but otherwise not bad. A nice light southerly breeze, and that continues into our evening as well. We'll stay with clear to mostly clear, a few passing clouds possible. We drop back to 45, which certainly beats the 34 that we saw the night prior. We head into tomorrow. We have another warm day ahead of us, but then as you see, we go in about 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Clouds begin to increase. Then we start to become just plain old cloudy as we head into late afternoon and early evening across the area ahead of that incoming system with those thunderstorm chances. So we'll keep an eye on the storms for you. You just keep it right here to KOAM. Otherwise, excuse me, up to 63 tomorrow, near 70 on Friday. Cold front knocks us down to about 60 on Saturday, but it doesn't take us long to rebound. Look at that, 74 on Sunday. Check out Monday, Tuesday, pushing near 80 degrees, but we also have additional thunderstorm chances, and Tuesday's storms might be on the strong side as well. We're still several days out, something we're keeping an eye on. That system knocks us way back down into the mid-50s by Wednesday, but the average spring-like temperatures make a quick return for the end of next week as we go back into the lower 60s. So a couple of different rounds of thunderstorms here in the next few days, but right now our primary focus is watching what happens Thursday night into Friday. So like I said, you just keep it here and we'll keep you updated.
And at this point, what's the earliest they could enter the four-state area on Thursday?
For Thursday, it's going to be a very isolated shot. It'll be late at night, maybe between 10 and midnight. But the better chance for more thunderstorm development is going to take place early Friday morning, say around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
When we're here.
When we are here. We'll be right here watching them.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making herb-crusted lamb with mint sauce after the break. Well, tired of making that traditional Easter ham? How about a main dish that sounds fancy but is really easy to do? Howard shows us how to make his herb-crusted lamb with mint sauce in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Every year, right before Easter, we get lots of questions from folks looking for something different to serve for the holiday. So rather than giving you a new way to cook a ham or roast a prime rib, we thought we'd show you how to prepare a rack of lamb. And with it being one of the best food buys of the week, all the better. Just in case you're not familiar with rack of lamb, it looks like this. Each one of these is considered a rack, with the meaty loin in the center and the rib bones attached to it. Instead of cutting these into chops, we coat them with a mixture of olive oil, onion and garlic powder, salt, pepper, fresh rosemary, and we roast them whole. While they're in the oven, we make a sauce to serve with them. It's simply mint jelly simmered with a splash of red wine and a sprig of fresh rosemary. Once the internal temperature of the lamb reaches 145, which is medium rare, we take them out of the oven to rest. Then we carve them between the bones and finish them with our mint wine reduction. It may sound and taste fancy, but it's so easy. To get the recipe for our herb-crusted lamb with mint sauce, simply visit our website, so you'll have it in plenty of time for Easter. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a welcoming new way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Sounds good. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Got a beautiful day for us today. Temperatures in the lower 60s. Watching those thunderstorm chances Thursday night into Friday. Some of those could be strong, possibly severe, but we stay mild. A little cooler Saturday, nice on Sunday, 74 near 80 as we kick off the next work week with more thunderstorm chances building in as well.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, the FDA approves over-the-counter Narcan. It's the first time an opioid overdose antidote is available without a prescription. Why advocates hope the move will help combat the opioid overdose crisis. Plus, McDonald County elementary students spring into wellness learning with healthy eating and yoga. And the legalization of recreational marijuana creates a shortage for medical patients. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.